Hello, greetings, and welcome to another Tech Talk brought to you by the NAMI San Diego Tech Cafe, paid for by the County of San Diego and Human Health Services Agency through the Mental Health Services Act. My name is Sten Walker, and I am the technology coordinator here. Today's webinar is going to entail the big wide world of job searching on the internet. Right now, I just made a dummy account on LinkedIn. I just made an email real quick, made a fake name. Not trying to trick anybody or anything. I listed all of my qualifications as not real. So, anyways, this is what a very, very blank LinkedIn would look like. Most of the time when going through it, one would customize it quite a bit, sort of make it their own, list their interests, list their qualifications, choose who they follow, make connections. LinkedIn isn't that difficult to set up. All one really needs is an email and to be a person with internet access. It does most of the work for you. It's pretty similar to Facebook in that it wants you to come on in, and it wants you to, unlike other social media, actually act as who you are and use your real name to make real connections. All right, so let's start lecturing. So yeah, in today's job market, it's common for available jobs to be listed online, applications to be submitted electronically, and interviews to be completed over the phone. Snail mail is a lot less common now these days. Most of the time, if snail mail is being used, it's for pen pals, thank you letters, or official government documents. Which is, I guess, a good thing because it's knowing that the government's not going to call you is a good way to avoid phone scams. Oftentimes, the first or second interview is the first time a hiring manager and applicant meet face to face. Beforehand, usually it's a mailing in of the cover letter or a resume, and because of this, comfort with email and online applications, as well as online networking, is now a rule rather than the exception. It's the norm essentially. So a couple things to keep in mind when making your LinkedIn or your online presence. LinkedIn is a tool for your search. And here's a couple things to keep in mind. One, don't post your resume on the internet, not even on a job website, without removing your phone number and address. That should only be done when you are sending it to someone specific who you want to contact you. Just putting your information out there isn't really going to do you much good in the end. Yeah, it can be a target for identity theft and other not so good methods of interaction. Don't quote blast your resume in response to a bunch of different job postings without taking the time to tailor your cover letter and possibly plan your resume to make it suit the job you want. No one's got a very simple life. A lot of the times we have a lot of different things that we can put on a resume, and making sure to only put the relevant information for the specific job you are applying for is ideal, and a lot of the time employers look out for that kind of thing. It'll just add points if it's obvious that the prospective employee tailored their resume specifically for the job. And one thing and another thing to do is research on the company. Posting the excuse me. That's what happens when you're live streaming. Anyways, do research the company posting the job you want to apply for, and learn about their mission, success rates, and other things, and what others think of them, and what it's like to work there. Of course, knowledge is power. So even though this is all online, we can't forget that the internet is made by people. It's essentially all about human interaction. Even though it's performed, the media is machinery. It's all done with people looking at everything and interacting with each other. You might be applying for a job online, but there's nothing wrong with following up a few business days later with a phone call. Some application sites might receive like hundreds of applications for dozens of different jobs, so taking the time to check on your personal application is not that big of a deal. And follow up after an interview is also considered polite, within reason. Thank you emails, thank you voicemails. Even sending a thank you note is probably fine. It just reinforces desire for the position, which isn't really a bad thing. So you are 5 times more likely to be interviewed and hired if you are referred by an employee than if you apply without knowing anyone. That is one of the, yes, it's who you know sometimes. It greatly increases chances. So a tool like LinkedIn is a great way of building up a network and making connections, talking to people, and being well known and getting yourself out there is better than just it's harder to make an impression from a piece of paper, unfortunately. Networking doesn't mean that you have to go to a mixer and stand around awkwardly, sharing business cards. It can also happen naturally with your friends and family as well as online. Just it doesn't, networking can just getting yourself out there, that's pretty much it. Staying in touch with old friends, coworkers, and classmates has been made a lot easier with Facebook and LinkedIn. But today is going to be focused on LinkedIn right here. So as I said earlier, Facebook is more of a social site for friends and family and things like personal pictures or vacation stories and musings on life and sharing funny videos and stuff. LinkedIn is for professional networking. Having a LinkedIn profile isn't a requirement, but it's a useful tool in a job search. And accumulating as the network connections and joining groups and following things is always a good way of building up a toolkit. Sometimes not having one may make recruiters think you aren't comfortable with using computers, which is just sort of a sad fact of life. So not only can you network with people you already know, you can meet and network with people in the job field or who work for the company that you want to work in. You can, quote, follow companies to read their news and stay on top of job postings the moment they are put up. Let's see, I can look up, let's see, NAMI. There we go. NAMI, nonprofit. There we go. So yeah, you can follow. See, there's the follow button right here. I'm not going to click that because I'm just using a pretty much a dummy account, so I don't want to mess with any statistics or anything. Anyways, more on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is built to make you look good. It'll give you advice on how to really make yourself look appealing and use it as much as possible. 92% of recruiters have used LinkedIn to search for candidates, and only 24% have used Facebook. And that's probably a good thing. We can't, we can't look professional all the time, and Facebook sometimes will capture and immortalize some of our less professional looking moments. LinkedIn includes sections on your skills, which can be built up. And it also has a messaging feature which can help take the nerves out of asking for an endorsement or a connection. There's a sort of a unspoken endorse for endorse rule for some people, where if you have a skill listed, somebody who knows you can go, yes, this person knows PowerPoint, yes, this person knows how to use Excel, and trading endorse for endorse having a bunch of endorsements can be very helpful. And having a professional looking email address to put on the resume is a must. And for LinkedIn, I spoke about professional looking emails earlier on how to make a good looking resume. It's a first impression. It's pretty important. Having a goofy one, most of the time, it's more limiting than making one stand out, and it's not as helpful at all. So, recruiters versus hiring managers. Recruiters are people who look for candidates for open jobs on behalf of companies and organizations. If a recruiter finds your profile on LinkedIn and determines you to be a viable candidate for a job they're trying to fill in, they'll contact you. Some of these emails look like spam. Other times, the recruiter may be contacting you for a job you might not want. You're free to respond to the recruiter or ignore the emails as you prefer. A hiring manager is a person employed by the company. Employed by the company you want to work for, and who receives applications and resumes to review. Oftentimes, the person in this position would be supervising or working with the position they are trying to fill in. So recruiters come to you, you go to hiring managers for the most part. Let's see. I'll just make something up here. What company do I work for? Let's just say self-employed. What is your current title? CEO. I started today. They caught me. let's see, interests. I just clicked a couple random ones. Economy and stuff like that. Anyways, so some tips. When you put your work history, don't include all of your job responsibilities, but only the important ones. This isn't a reprint of your resume and won't be used instead of a resume in an interview. If you put a picture of yourself on your LinkedIn profile, make sure it's a picture you'd be okay with your future manager seeing, obviously. If you've worked somewhere or volunteered for a place that has a website, you can include a link to the organization's website for extra verification. And it's all right to add a little bit of your personality, but as long as it's very professional. This is an advertisement. You're trying to sell yourself the best you can. If you're currently unemployed, change your current job title to the field you want to be in or the field you're trained in. For example, if you want to work as a tailor, change your name to tailor with 20 years of experience or something else that might apply. You can use this opportunity to detail your skills in the job description section. If you have long breaks in employment, don't put the months you're employed. You can leave the months field blank and only put the year. So just like employed from October 2005 to February 2006. Don't put volunteer work or unemployed as your current job. That's just not gonna be very lucrative. And LinkedIn is not Facebook. So I'm not gonna look at the suggestions for my network just for privacy reasons, because it'll probably show, since I was so non-specific, just sort of people in the area. So yeah, be choosy about who your LinkedIn connections are, and make sure they contribute positively to your profile. So because they're your online business relationships, you don't have to connect with someone just because you're friends or family, or just met at a party or something, unless it's someone who would, if you're connected with, would really make you look good. LinkedIn has a section where you can input your skills that your connections can endorse. We've talked about that. Let's see if I can find that. So, as you can see, there's this profile strength thing here, which LinkedIn uses analysis of all the profiles that have ever been made of who gets contacted the most, and they have suggestions for how to make it stronger. Right now, I got pretty much nothing. It's intermediate. I mean, I just made up what kind of job I had and such. So adding education can help. Profile picture can help, yes. It's not necessary, but LinkedIn likes it. Skills to showcase your expertise. So this is how this works. It has a limited amount of skills which you can add. So if you're not looking to be a musician, then adding how well you play guitar may not be necessary. I'll just do data analysis. Oops. So yeah, here's the featured skills and endorsements, Microsoft Office. So I don't have any endorsements for this skill because, first of all, I don't have any connections either. Uh, anyways, so yeah, it can be grown constantly, even after going through all the steps for getting a very strong profile. There's any experience or connections or endorsements can keep changing and growing, and can become more and more useful and better suited for helping you find the job you want. LinkedIn also has on the feed on the main homepage. I don't know if I'll have any. Let's see, because I'm not following anyone. But no, there you go. So yeah, so there's like trending. Oh, I just clicked green business just because. And it'll have these articles here, and it can help keep you up to date with what's going on in whatever market you're interested in. And yeah, so that's one of the things that can keep you coming back, even if you're not just constantly editing your own personal story. So yeah, some rules of thumb for editing your own LinkedIn. The newspaper headline test. Don't put anything on your profile or in your summary that you wouldn't want on tomorrow's news, because this is all about putting yourself out there and leaving the best impression possible. It's also best to keep political, religious, or humorous statements or opinions off of your LinkedIn. Unless you're looking for a job in politics, religion, or comedy, it's not really going to do you much good to be cracking jokes and being possibly divisive. It's about being as appealing to everyone as possible. Unless, of course, getting into politics, religion, or comedy. Absolutely do not use LinkedIn to vent about previous jobs that you didn't like, or to complain about the job you currently have if you're employed. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Let's look around a little bit. So clicking on jobs. Instead, I just listed myself as CEO. So yeah, it'll be. These are all pretty recently posted. So there's only 10 people who applied to this, 10 people who applied to that. CEO of heat treating industry. Code Ninja. So yeah, some people will be goofy about it. Let's see, where's the editing? There we go. School am I at? Where did I graduate from? I'll just make up Boston University, I guess. So yeah, I'll ask you from when to when. Let's actually just skip this. Add a profile picture. That's not happening. And add a summary. So yeah, you can add a summary to just a quick little read. It's sort of like a general. It's kind of like a cover letter, I suppose, but it's more of a profile summary where you're just sort of explaining your background, your interests, where you're coming from, where you want to go, Um, yeah, you can talk about your years of experience, industry or skills. People also talk about their achievements or previous job experiences. So yeah, this is a decent place to try to really stand out. All the other general rules pretty much apply. Just keeping it short and sweet. Um, Most of the time, recruiters aren't going to spend that much time on a single person, just really delving into all the details. Because there's a lot of potential employees out there. I thought I was follow. Oh yeah, I didn't click on follow. Let's look at. Groups. Yeah, there's the sharing articles as well. So any connections, you can see what specific people are posting because a lot of the times following certain people, they'll post what they find interesting. Which if you find that person interesting, you might find what they find to be interesting. So it has the Facebook classic like, comment, and share buttons as well. It's pretty similar to Facebook, except it's a personal advertisement, I suppose. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, I didn't. When I made this dummy account, I didn't really enter in any real interest. So, but if I did, then it would have shown different kinds of groups which one can join, like alumni associations, and it gets down to very, very specific communities and groups. LinkedIn is very expansive, so it's more than likely that looking around, one could find something that can greatly interest them, and dang it. And there will be other people to enjoy the same sort of stuff. Um, so yeah, those are just some general rules of thumb for LinkedIn. It's pretty easy to set up. It's just the personal reflection is the hard part, really. It's been very streamlined. It's a good tool to keep on tabs and such. Anyways, I hope if you haven't tried out LinkedIn, that it'd be less intimidating now if it was before. Hope you can give it a shot and put yourself out there. That's what really this is all about. Anyways, I think that wraps it up on time. Again, my name is Stan Walker, the technology coordinator here. Thanks for watching, and for more, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.